there. So I spent $300 on some Copic markers last week, so I thought my bank account will thank me if I actually buy some cheap supplies for once. And you know, some people like making art without having to spend an arm and a leg or give away their firstborn child to get the supplies, and art supplies can be expensive. So I went into my local Dollar Tree and I came across a bunch of good stuff that I think a lot of people would like. I did this exact video about a year ago, and all I had was like some mechanical pencils and a rubbish little kids palette that just was completely useless. But this year I went in there and they had acrylic paint tubes. They had tons of acrylic paint. Like, it's not like poster paint either, it actually says it's acrylic paint. So they had a whole bunch of colours, as you can see, and I just basically bought every single one that I could find. And you know, I'm hoping I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. Like, back in the day of my speed paints, I would live on 50 cents Apple Barrel Walmart paint. I love that stuff. It's so good, it's so pigmented, and it just works really well, and it's 50 cents. So these were $1 each. So I do have high hopes for these, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be disappointed. And of course, if you have acrylic paint, you need a canvas, and yes, it's upside down. Yes, they had a canvas, would you believe? I mean, you can tell it feels like a $1 canvas, but you can paint on it, you know? You don't need to have to spend loads of money on a canvas, so we can use that. Next up, I found a 6-piece set of art palettes. So they're basically like little plastic, there's 6 ones here. And of course, if you're painting, you need some paintbrushes. And if you remember from last year, I had these terrible little plastic bristled things you have when you're like 3 years old, the little plastic bristled paintbrushes which absolutely do nothing. But I was pleasantly surprised. They had a nice big stencil brush, which is, you know, I don't like these kinds of brushes, but it's better than the plastic ones. And they also had some Crayola brushes, which are actual fibres instead of plastic strands. If you have paintbrushes, you're also going to need a little jar or a glass to wash them out with. So I bought myself a little Christmas glass that says, don't get your tinsel in a tinsel, don't get your tinsel in a tangle. So that's cute. Just forgot, I did buy a set of mechanical pencils to draw my little sketch out with. And last but not least, probably the thing I was surprised at most, because this is quite expensive, they had a little mini Mod Podge, and I can use this to seal my canvas. So I only spent $14 plus tax on all of this stuff, and it's stuff that's going to last as well. So I'm going to go and try this stuff now to see if it works well and if it's worth you taking a trip out to your local Dollar Tree to see if you can get some too. So let's go. Okay, so this is everything that I bought. As you can see, kind of more close up here. I don't have the greatest range of colours. I don't even have a proper yellow. This is like orange. But I'm going to do my best. And of course, I don't have the detail brush either. This is just really like, it's fluffy. So these are not going to be the most fun in the world. And I seem to have paint on my finger already and I've not even started yet. But yeah, these are going to be a absolute nightmare. But I'm going to try my best. I'm going to first start off with opening this little canvas. To be honest, it actually doesn't feel that bad. I mean, considering it's a $1 canvas, it feels pretty good, to be fair. Mechanical pencils are mechanical pencils in my book. These actually feel really nice and they look quite cool. I mean, they're quite light, but that's not a bad thing. Do you see the little lead in there and it's like wiggling about? Here's my little tinsel in a tangle glass here. So for $1, for 6 of these, I think that's a really good price. Like, I'm gonna just use these a lot, so a palette is a palette in my book. So because I'm kind of lacking on colour and detail, I think what I'm gonna do is, this is a very Grinch-like colour, so I think what I'm gonna do is just make the Grinch from the newest film, just to see how that looks. Also, apologies if the lighting isn't the best. My light box thing has completely given up on me, so all I'm working with is natural light, so fingers crossed it stays sunny. That's totally uneven. Oh my god. This is going to be a mess, but it's fine. I'll try to fix it with the paint. And then we're going to stick little Max down here somewhere. Okay, Max looks a little crazy, but that's totally fine. Now what I'm going to do is lightly erase all this stuff so it doesn't show through too much. Now comes the fun part. We're going to try out the paints for the first time. This one's leaking already. That's not a good sign. It's not a runny consistency, to be fair. It's actually quite thick in consistency. I'm hoping I can use this somewhat as a yellow, even though it's really not yellow. Firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some of the green with a bit of red. Try and mute it a little bit. Ooh, this is going to be fun to paint with. Oh, this brush. You know, it's pretty decent paint, but the paintbrush is just horrendous. I'm actually not sure how I'm supposed to do anything with this paintbrush at all. I won't lie, I'm probably going to switch to a different paintbrush. I'm quite impressed actually with the paints so far, because they're not all that transparent and I expected them to be. The only thing is, I think the blue might be, because blue tends to be the kind of colour that is just a hassle. Yeah, I'm giving up on this paintbrush. I literally can't do anything. Okay, so these paintbrushes they're just a fail. I'm not even going to bother using them. Don't buy them unless you're buying them for kids. I want to give this paint a good go because I think this is what most people are sort of looking at the moment. I mean, you can see that it's not the most fabulous paint in the world, but you don't really expect it to be if it does its job. This is a very murky Grinch, isn't it? Oh, this white is terrible. Maybe if I try using a flat brush like this, it might work better. Okay, this is a little bit better. And this brush as well is pretty cheap. You know, it was just a cheap paintbrush that I found in a pack. It is absolutely beautiful. It's blending pretty well as well. I mean, it's not bad paint. The white is just terrible. There's absolutely no pigment to it at all. It's so awful. I can't even begin to tell you. Before anyone says it in the comments, yes, there's a difference between cheap and expensive paint. There is a reason why people go for the more expensive stuff versus the stuff that costs... Would you shut up? The reason why people choose to buy very expensive paints over stuff that's cheap, that seems to work the same, is because there's something called light fastness, and basically it means kind of how long paint lasts. There's a difference between if paint's going to fade in the sunlight, how long it's going to last, if it's archival, that type of thing. So if you are wanting to make art that's going to last through the centuries, you wouldn't want to use dollar store paint. But as I always say, if you're just someone that's doing it for a hobby, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using cheaper paint. I'd be curious to see how this dries as well, because it blends okay. Okay, let's see how well the black works. So we're going to stick it right in the corner. Seems to be okay. It doesn't sort of seem transparent or anything. He still looks a bit out of sorts, but we will try and fix that. Grinch has got some nice eyeliner going on there. I would definitely say that I prefer the apple barrel paint to this though. I will say that. I just feel that it's better and it's cheaper. I don't have a brown, so I'm doing my best to kind of recreate the brown of Max down here. Max is looking like he's fallen in a pile of cow dung. Barry looks like the boy from Matilda after he's eaten the chocolate cake. Getting there. Needs a lot more close-up details, but it is getting there. The red colour is pretty transparent. I have to keep building it up, as you can see. I'm not going to spend too long on this. It's been about, I want to say 50 minutes that I've been working on this. The thing I'll say about this paint, it doesn't seem to dry very fast. Like most acrylics I've used, they tend to dry quite quickly, which makes blending difficult. This, however, even this is still sticky. So I'm thinking because it is thicker paint, it's actually easier to blend stuff with. It looks like he's grimacing, like, help me! I've made his eyeball a bit misshapen, and I can't use any white to fix it because the white doesn't work. I'm not going too perfect with this because I want it to be just like a quick 1 hour painting, just to see what I can do with these. And yeah, it's been about 50 minutes now. Also, who is going out for Black Friday? I am going to Michael's on Thanksgiving evening, and I'm going to go buy all of their canvases that I possibly can because they're 70% off, which is absolutely insane. Also, fun fact, I actually applied to work at Michael's when I was 18 years old, and they never got back to me. So, thanks, Michael's. I need to have the outer bit of him, like, somewhat. I'm losing light very quickly. I need to get new light boxes because this is just not, I can't work against the sun. Ah, he looks so happy. Let's try and do max. I need to get small detail brushes because this is just not small enough. I'm really annoyed because I want to add some white highlights, but I can't because the white paint is terrible. But look how bad it is. It just doesn't want to know. Max is still looking like a mess, but Max is going to have to lump it. I want to say I've been working on this for about an hour and about 15 minutes. So I'd like to just sort of stop it right here. Even though it could do with some improvement, I'm rapidly losing sunlight. Yeah, I'm going to leave it as it is. The finish is kind of quite matte. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this to dry. And then I'm going to seal it with the Mod Podge to kind of just seal it all off and then see how it looks towards the end. But overall, I'm quite happy with it. He's quite cute in a really ugly way, right? Okay, so I've got the stencil brush here. So I'm pretty much just going to seal the entire canvas with too much Mod Podge. There we go. And when it dries, it's going to be nice. And is it going to be glossy? It's gloss, so it's going to be nice and glossy. Okay, we'll give it a few minutes to dry and then you can see the final finished result. Okay, so this is it done. As you can see, it's all sealed now. It's got a nice glossy coat over it, so that's nice and sealed. Final thoughts. The paint, I genuinely was pleasantly surprised. It worked better than I thought it would work, and it blended well. It's not the best paint in the world. Light fasteners, probably, not the best, but my biggest complaint, to be honest, was the white paint. What? How did that? It was decent enough. So overall, compared to like the apple barrel paint at Walmart, it was similar in pigmentation, and it was thicker, so it didn't dry as quick, so you could blend them better. The little palettes here, excellent. You can't really go wrong with palettes like this. Mechanical pencil was, it was a mechanical pencil. Don't really have much to say about that. The eraser wasn't the best, but it's $1. The canvas was actually really, really good. I have no complaints about this. It worked well, it was cheap, and it's great for people that are wanting to not spend too much money. Paintbrushes. These things are not even worth talking about. They're not worth your time. Good for kids, but that's about it. Mod Podge is excellent for so many reasons. So, everyone I know likes Mod Podge. So if you want a smaller bottle of it, go to the dollar shop. My little stippling brush thing, whatever this is called, it was great for sealing with the Mod Podge, and my little glass, it worked for my paint. So we've got a nice brownish tinge water here. So yeah, that's everything. That's how it turned out. I like the little gloss it has now. And yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below if you would try out this paint or if you've tried it out before. And yeah, everyone, if you're in the US or you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday with your family or your friends, or even if you're spending it by yourself, have a lovely Thanksgiving. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.